Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm Bianca.
Hi, Bianca.
What's your name?
My name is Tom.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Tom, just a few house cleaning things before we start.
Yes, ma'am.
I do take notes, so if at any point that bothers you, just let me know and I'll stop.
Okay.
All right. Then I have to go with confidentiality. 4 parts to it. If you're in any imminent danger to yourself or others, I have to report it. No questions asked, just report it.
Okay.
If you mention anything about abuse or neglect to an elderly, a child, or a disabled person, I have to report that. If you're underage, if you was underage, under the age of 18, I would have to report that to your parents if they ask. But I kind of like to ask parents not to get too involved.
Okay.
I make them aware of it's something they need to be aware of or need to kind of monitor. Other than that, I ask them not to be involved just so me and the patient can have a conversation.
Gotcha.
Then if you were court ordered, if the court sent me something that was like, I need to know what you and Tom have been talking about, I have to disclose that. It's court.
Okay.
So those are just the 4 aspects of confidentiality, and then me taking notes. Are you okay with all of those?
I'm okay with that.
All right, so what brings you in today, Tom?
Oh, family matters.
Gotcha.
Children,
Yes.
wife a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm in a second marriage for me and my wife.
Okay.
And the current situation now is she has 2 children.
Okay.
They're both out of the house right now, which is a blessing in itself.
Gotcha.
So Lori and I have been together for, let's see here, this is 2018, got together in probably 2007, so 11 years we've been together.
Okay.
Married
Okay.
for 10.
Gotcha.
And when I married her, Ethan was probably in 5th grade and Olivia was in 8th grade.
Okay.
So, we lived together. We were married, so we lived together.
Yeah.
But anyway, as the marriage progressed and the kids got older, Olivia came to the decision that she wanted to go out of state to go to school.
Okay.
And so there's things that go along with that we as parents have to take into consideration and work with our children to get things done so they'll be ready to go and leave the nest.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those crucial factors with Olivia was to do her FAFSA application, to get her student loans in place. And so I told her, as soon as she decided she was going to go out of state, that we need to sit down together one weekend and work through the FAFSA program.
Okay.
And I was working out of town, coming home on weekends, and seemed like every weekend I was home, Olivia had something else to do.
Okay.
And that's fine with me. I'm not the one wanting to go out of state and go to school.
That's right.
So I felt that if she's not devoted to getting this done, then I'm not devoted to getting it done either.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the deadline for getting your stuff in was fast approaching. We had maybe 10 days to go.
Okay.
And that narrowed down to just the weekend before it was due.
Gotcha.
And Olivia again had better things to do, and Lori said, well, Tom, we got to get it done for her.
Mm-hmm.
And so reluctantly, I sat down at the computer and hammered out her FAFSA stuff for her. Got it in, and she got her student loans.
All right.
Yeah, we were happy about that. So she takes off and she goes to college out in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And got her student loans in place. Everything's going great. She comes home for the end of the fall semester.
Okay.
For fall semester. Wait a minute, she did a freshman year out there, I think.
Okay.
I remember. Yeah, she did a freshman year out there.
Okay.
And as far as we knew, everything was good.
All right.
Later found out that she had dropped a couple courses.
All right.
But I'm learning as I go with that as well. I've dropped a course, It's no
Okay.
fun, we got penalties to go with that. And she would just have to take that penalty in the end.
Mm-hmm.
So the next year she goes back, and she's going back for the fall semester of her, what would be her sophomore year.
Okay.
And she's out there for, out in Denver for maybe a month.
Okay.
And she calls Mom and says, Mom, I'm not happy. I'm coming home.
Okay.
So she comes home back to South Carolina from Denver, and she has a job. She's doing knife sales for a company that's paying her pretty good, and she's doing well. But after about 3 months of being home, the loan originator that financed her loans sent a letter to the house saying, hey, it's time to start paying back them student loans. You're not in school anymore. You must be ready to start paying it back. And she wasn't interested in doing that at the time. And we looked at the paperwork with the wife, and I noticed that the loan the letter was addressed to me. And I'm thinking, this isn't right. I didn't go to school for a year. So I called the company, and they're like, well, Mr. Cover, you signed the line as the guarantor for the loan.
Gotcha,
yeah. It's in your name, not your daughter's name. Oh.
Sure.
So, long story short, since that time, it's been a good 4 years, maybe 5 years. Getting Olivia to sit down and talk about these issues. It's just in that ear, out that ear. She's got something better to do. She has to work all the time. It's frustrating for me because I have my own bills that I've generated, and now I have her student loan bill as well. So she is not in school, and the bills are due, and not wanting to talk about it, and doesn't want to talk about anything that has to do with being adult. She posted something on her Facebook a month or two ago about adulting is great, adulting is so easy, and I would think it would be easy too if every time that my checkbook funds didn't extend to the end of the month, hey Mom, I need some more money, and out of the sky drops money. But that process, it's great for Olivia. We got her out of a jam, but SCE&G says, you want your power on next week, you got to come pay us too. And it's just been a rat race. It really has, and it's frustrating me. My relationship with Lori has suffered. We argue more than we should. We ignore each other more than we should. So I know what to do with it sometimes.
Okay, so have you had any counseling about this matter before, Tom, or just any matter?
I have been in counseling before. Many years ago in my first marriage. And, I thought it was productive. She and I had came to a common ground on the issue we were in. Unfortunately, after that counseling was over with, things just went back the way they were. I don't know if it was commitment from me or commitment from her, but we ended up divorcing.
All right. So you've been in counseling before. So just your environment. You said this is both you and Lori's second time being married. Been married for 10 years, 2 children from Lori that was staying in the house, but now they're grown, so they're out the house. So then we were discussing Olivia in the FAFSA deal. You had to do FAFSA that night to get done, meet the deadline so she can get to school. Went to school freshman year, it was okay. Sophomore year, not feeling this. So she comes back home. Then after 6 months, the loan papers come in. It's time to pay. But Olivia doesn't have the means to do so. So then we're looking at Tom. Since Tom's name is on it. It's like, Tom, it's time to pay. I need my first pay. But that's not how you wanted it to go.
No. As I said, I have my own bills I need to pay, and you know, I'm blessed in the fact that I decided to come back to school.
Okay.
So I'm going to school at the Citadel, and the FAFSA guidelines says that if you are in school, you can get a
Deferment.
deferment. That's what I look at, a deferment from your student loans. And,
Okay.
you know, that's kind of my deferment, not my deferment, but apparently it is my deferment. So I don't have to pay those back right now. But,
Okay, that's a good thing, yeah.
But the downside of it is interest is still building up on that.
Okay.
And they're going to want,
Yeah,
at the end, they're still going to want their money.
Yeah, that is true. That's
So,
true.
it's just, you know, it's one thing after another with her.
Okay.
She, between her freshman and start of her sophomore year, she convinced her mother that she needed a car to drive.
Okay.
So she could facilitate her knife sales better, instead of taking public transportation all over the city, lugging around 20 pounds of knives.
Yep.
So we sent her back with a car. And so she was able to drive there, drive back. She dropped out of school, and she was running the roads, burning the candle at both ends. And she came home on a Saturday morning after being out partying, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
And she got in about 6, and she had to be on the road by 8. And she made it, but as she was leaving town, she rear-ended somebody and totaled the car. She was fine, everything was good there, but she ended up totaling the car. So
that was
that car, and she and her mother co-signed on another car for Olivia, and that one I think got totaled as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
So my wife is on the hook for half of the car for her too.
Gotcha. So you can say what brings you in now, it's that after the whole FAFSA ordeal, Olivia's not, living up to the adult as she should be,
right?
Handling responsibilities. So you can say what led you to come in today is what?
There's I want my relationship with Olivia and my wife to get better.
Okay.
And Olivia's not taking the steps forward to assist me with that.
Okay.
And Lori, to some extent, is, she's trying to satisfy Olivia and keep her safe and all, and trying to keep me happy with what's going on too. And
how does that feel?
What is frustrating? It's frustrating because she wants to be an adult.
Okay.
With being an adult comes responsibility, and she's not exhibiting that responsibility. So when she calls mom and says, "Mom, I need somebody to get through," I want Lori to come to me and say, "Hey, we need to talk about this, Lori. Olivia needs some money." And if that's not happening, Lori just write a check, send it out, or electronically transferring from our account to hers. And it seems like several times a month we're padding her account so she doesn't down stuff.
Okay, so I know you probably haven't talked to Lori about that or expressed that to her.
No, I haven't.
So what does that feel like when, Olivia calls, "Hey, I need money," and Lori just sends it without, I know you guys are married, without confronting you first, or talking about it first?
I feel neglected. Neglection isn't the right word, but how do I feel about that? I think that my input is not being considered.
Okay.
When this happens, we should talk about it. And even to the point where, okay, Libby, this month we're going to pad you over, here's $100, but next month, you need to kick us back $25 and balance us back out instead of just being empty hand and being filled up to the hand gets full all the time.
Okay.
If you can't get by on your income in New York, then maybe you need to find someplace with a lower cost of living to live. You know, if you don't want to come to South Carolina, great. But maybe Fairfax, Virginia might be less expensive, or Charlotte, North Carolina. They're big metropolitan areas. You can still sell knives, and it's still away from home.
Okay, so one thing that you can probably allude to what makes this situation worse is when, you know, Olivia calls and Lori's like, oh, okay, let's just transfer, you know, $200 in your account. So could that attribute to what makes the situation worse?
Well, it makes it worse in that Lori and I are not communicating about how we're going to send the money to her. And it makes it worse because Olivia's not saying, hey, Mom, I need to talk to you and Dad about my finances. It's just, Mom, I need some money. And, you know, when those times when she comes home for a short visit, you know, I want to talk to her about what's going on, and she wants to run the road. She has I've got friends I want to go see. I don't want to sit home with y'all. Yeah. So.
Is there anything that makes the situation better? Or do you see a better in the situation?
The only way it gets better is when income tax season rolls around
gotcha.
And I get a refund.
Gotcha, yep.
You know, but no, I'm stressed about finances. I do.
Okay.
I do. And that stress manifests itself in my whole life.
Okay.
If my finances aren't right, I focus on that, and everything else is secondary. And you know, that's not fair to my wife. It's not fair to the kids, but that's how I do it.
Yeah. So with that, I know you said the problem, well, how this is interfering in your life is it's affecting you and Lord.
It is. It affects my sleep from sometimes. You know, I'll wake up early in the morning and be stressing about it. Physically, I'll have heartburn at times. I take medication for that. Just stress of not having enough funds in the account to pay everybody. I still have $1 left at the end of the month. Okay,
so that stress must feel like a burden, or you know, a burden on your shoulders.
It does.
It does. Pretty heavy. And then with the arguing with the Lord, that can't make anything better.
It doesn't make it any better, and I try to keep my mouth shut. I try to.
Okay.
You know, I'm like an ostrich.
Okay.
Something ain't right the way I want it to be. You know, just bury my head in the sand, and when I pull my head out of the sand, maybe it'll be better.
Yeah.
But turns out from research, ostriches don't bury their head in the sand.
Okay.
So,
Fun fact.
yeah.
All right. So it sounds as if you have a lot of frustration built up. A lot of anger behind this, just a lot of emotions. Yeah. Emotions that I'm pretty sure you don't sound like you expressed to Olivia or Lori yet. All right, and so I think one thing that would help you to feel a little better, or a little stress off your shoulders, is getting to the point where you feel kind of, not empowered, but you feel better by expressing your feelings.
Right.
So I have something that we can try to do if you're willing to do it. It's called the empty chair. So what it is, it's one of the techniques, one of the activities that we like to do. We bring in an empty chair. Let's just say this empty chair is in the empty chair is going to be Olivia. So when I put the chair in front of you, I want you to express how everything has made you feel from FAFSA to now. Basically focus on the FAFSA part, just the more so the beginning of it.
Right.
So I'll bring the chair, that's going to be Olivia, and I just want you to express to her, or you know, let her hear some of the feelings, how you're feeling. Is that something you're up to?
We'll try.
All right. Let me get a chair for you. All Alright, so that's gonna be Olivia, and I want you to express to Olivia how you felt about FAFSA and her starting adulthood.
Okay. Well, Olivia, I love you, and I want the best for you. But 4 or 5 years ago, when you were going through high school and you wanted to go out of state to go to school, we initially talked about having to do the FAFSA application to get you to school, and we agreed that one weekend we would get together, and I let you make the decision of when that was going to be, because you have things you like to do on weekends, and I have to work some weekends, but we needed to get that done. And as the time went on, you were never available on your weekends to do the application. And the times that we talked about it before the weekend rolled around, you would tell me that, well, Becky's mom and dad did her application for her. And I said, well, that's great, but we're not Becky. And this is something that you want to do. It's going to affect you when you graduate from college. And so we had to do it. And so the deadline came, and you still weren't available to do the application, and your mother told me that I needed to get it done for you. So I did it, and we got it done, got it turned in, and you were happy, and your mom was happy, and I was happy too. So time came around your freshman year, and we sent you out to Colorado to start college, and everything was great. You did your freshman year out there, you came home for your summer before your sophomore year, and you're doing great with your knife sales. And when you went back to school, you were out there for about a week, maybe 10 days, and you called back and told your mom you were coming home, that school wasn't for you. So I didn't have any input in that conversation. It was just you and your mom again, and so you came home and you were doing the adult life thing that you just frequently talk about. You're enjoying adult life, and you're in sales and you're in industry, and you're having a great time. But shortly after that, the loan originator sent a loan home, and turns out that your student loans are in my name, and it's my debt. And we've never talked about this, so we need to talk. I'm very disappointed in you that you haven't stepped up to the plate. And if you're able to go to conferences and so forth with work, you should be able to pay a few dollars on your student loans to keep that going and get that taken care of. And the fact that you're not willing to do that, and you keep putting your hand out for more money, is disappointing to me. Disappointing, and it's frustrating, because I can't continue to support you. And until you realize that, at some point it's going to come to the point where I'm just going to tell you no, and you're going to be left holding an empty pocketbook. So we need to sit down and work this out. We need to come up with a plan so you can understand my feelings on the matter, and I understand yours, and we can set up a payment schedule so you can start paying off your debt. Wow.
How did that feel, Tom?
That felt pretty good.
Okay.
That felt pretty good. Being able to say it without the irrational feedback that a young adult likes to throw at you, drawing back into her teen years, and how she would just go through the roof.
Yeah.
So
you sound a little more relaxed.
Stress reliever.
Yeah, you sound a little more relaxed.
Stress reliever.
Definitely, I thought you did a good job.
Well, thank you.
You did mention a few emotions. I think there's more emotions that Tom is hiding. But I think so, Tom. But you did good. I mean, you expressed how, you know, everything was great at first and you were happy for the, you know, got things done.
Yeah.
It was great. Freshman year went great. But then it turned. It took a turn, and then she dropped out of school, told her mother she didn't tell you, came back home. So then you did mention how you were disappointed and frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you were being left out of a lot of conversations.
Right.
Because if your money is included, then I think you should be included in the conversations. So you expressed how you were frustrated, you weren't in decisions, like her dropping out of school, you had no idea until she showed up, and you were like, oh, you're home. So you did good. You did good for our first try.
Okay.
That was really good. You did bring out emotions, but I know there's more than 4 emotions that's hiding in there, Tom. But you said it went good. You said
it was good. It was good. Yeah, and you're right. There are emotions, and being the bump on the log I can be, I don't like to let that stuff out.
Yeah, I got you.
Know?
I got you.
It's difficult, but
I understand.
you know, if I could do this scenario with everybody I was having problems with,
I know, right?
Right.
It would be. Just one more thing. How have you been coping with this before? You know, before we did this empty chair technique, how have you been coping with this problem with Olivia?
I've been avoiding her. I really have. You know, the one hand, we need to talk, and on the other hand, it's like every time I try to talk to her, she's got something else that's more important to do than talk about what's in her mind is. That's in the past. We don't have to worry about that anymore. But it's really not in the past. It's an ongoing concern that I have, and with her not wanting to talk about this now, not wanting to talk about it then, it's just going to continue to become a festering sore point that's going to erupt and bust some way, and it's not going to be. It's not going to be a good situation.
I got you.
I don't want it to erode my marriage with Lori. But it's a divide in our marriage that's affecting us.
Okay, so I can probably tell from by avoiding it that's been successful for you. You know,
unfortunately, it is.
Okay.
I avoid it, and I can just push it underneath the rug, and it can sit there until it rears its nasty head out underneath the rug and says, "Hey, you need to address this, or something else can happen." And so I'll try to address it with Olivia, and she'll start running her mouth, and I'll start raising my voice, and then we're arguing, and then Lori steps in, and I'm always being hard on her kids.
Okay, I got you. So this is something that's helpful. You said it's a stress reliever. It helps you to talk out your emotions. So is this something that we can do maybe next time, or do more of?
I'd like to do it more of it.
Okay.
Maybe do the same thing with Lori next time.
Okay.
And at some point, maybe we put 2 chairs in here at the same time and we tag tape.
I know, right? That would be cool, right?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so the goal you stated earlier about this session, what was the goal again?
Say it again.
The goal you have for this session.
I want to get to the point where I can have a conversation with Olivia on this without it melting down to yelling and screaming and crying and all those negative emotions that erupt.
Gotcha. Yeah. So can you say that this is a helper?
I think it will be. It's like a role play. It's a silent role play. I get to say what I want to say, and I can say it, and she can't say anything back.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so Tom, I have my notes. So let's say we meet this time next week, and maybe we can go a little further with Olivia and bring out more emotions than just the 4 you gave me. Or we can either flip it and start with Lori. So it's your call for next week. But is this time next week okay with you?
Perfect time.
All right. Well, it was so nice meeting you, Tom.
Thank you.
And I'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you much.